Yeah, the first of 5 days of rain here. I'm probably going to have to shift it back under cover, but it's easier here on the peaty soil it's easier on my feet, sort of thing. Anyway, I've pulled it all apart. I've taken off the metal because that's I found to be a negative, and I'll just pull this off and show you, because as I said, I've been working, playing around with this sort of stuff, sort of thing. And if I pull this off, this is too thick, the polyflute. I wanted polyflute because it can withstand the weather, the rain and stuff. But yeah, I'm doing this one-handedly, fellas. Cut me some slack. But yeah, sinisterly, left-handedly. Yeah. Well, Leonardo da Vinci was left-handed apparently, and so was Mozart. Apparently, still no one's figured out Mozart's left hand, even though we've got so many works written down. But yeah, sometimes you have to do things, just to prove to yourself. So can you see that? They're right next to one another, so it's like having two of these back to back in a way. So yeah, I'll just do it with two. If I set up the box here, if I just set it up over here on the, might be able to show you. So you got magnets. Yeah, you've got magnets here, and you set them into repulsion like this. If you stick them together so they're in repulsion, this was my first big discovery. Why no one showed this to me at primary school, I don't know. Maybe they didn't know. Too obscure. It's a negative, but this explains a lot. And then you bring in another magnet in here at a distance. That distance will be roughly half of what it should be there if you do this. Like if you super glue these together and you get magnets on either side, you'll work out that it's not quite half, but because the force falls off by the square of the distance, that basically means that you're down to about just over a quarter of your strength. So you're losing, well, it's going to be a sine cos tan function of your thrust anyway, times a quarter basically. So that's how much, so you're losing basically 3/4 of your thrust on either side. On either side. So you're down to a quarter of thrust on either side of this thing by doing that. That's why we do the double ring approach. But once you start doing this, breaking them up sort of thing, at these gaps, you get this suck basically and a cogging point sort of thing. So we don't get that if you have the magnets totally covering the thin shielding there, sort of thing, stuck onto there. But once the metal is exposed, you'll get a sort of a suck or a cogging point begins to occur, sort of thing. So you've got to go to plastic. So I'm going to get some buckets and just cut them up. Cut them into strips like this and put them around. I don't know. I think I worked it out to be 5 strips or something. The circumference of the circle, and then do another one maybe with some black plastic material that's a little bit thicker. It's similar thickness to that, and put that as the inner hub, I suppose, and do it all again. And I mean, this is what I'm good at. This is where I excel. Is this sort of nutting out work sort of thing. Once we got the principle all worked out, we know it. If we can just get over this one little point, because I don't have enough magnets to do the whole circle, and we don't want to do the whole circle because we worked out that won't work at all. Doing it as a whole circle, a double ring circle, that won't work because it's acting like a giant ringed torus in a way, and you just lose all your magnetism will go internally within the barium ferrite. And you'll get just a thin skin if at all, and it'll go even lower than your thrust will go down to below a quarter, to negligible to nil sort of thing, and you won't get any OOMP, you won't get any OOMPH, no oomph, to even get it going, to start it off sort of thing. But as I said, we worked out that it always starts better on one end, just like on a magnet sort of thing, because it flips. So we got to do it all again. I know it's hard going back to the house to get your car keys when you've forgotten them. The journey back to the house to get your car keys is always the longer journey, even though it's not. You just walk the same, it's just the same distance, but it always feels longer and it's harder to come back, you know. But you have to do it. It's like my friend Keith Spogers. He trapped his finger in the bonnet of the BMW, and he realised he would have to crush his finger a second time to get it out. So he quickly did it. But that was the calibre of the man. He realised he would have to crush his finger a second time and have the same amount of pain, if not more, the second time, because, you know, it's a damaged finger now, in order to get it out. So the memories of the great Keith Spogers. Chris is his wife, sorry. Keith Spogers. Yeah, I've got the hand-me-down galvanometer, not galvanometer. Oh, Jesus. My memory's going these days. You know, the device I took over to WA to measure the sand grain, I know you're not supposed to do that, but, you know, everyone's got one. Everyone can, you know, has access to somebody's got one and they can try it themselves. So, you know, and everyone will believe you. If you just said the sand grains of that and he didn't show you that you had a, I can't even remember the name now. Anyway, it's up there online. It's one of the cephalotas at Coal Mine Beach clips. You might want to look that one up. It's only a short one. I think it's a few minutes. Anyway, it's just enough to tell you about the grain size. I'm probably the only one who's ever done something like that. I think I've never read in any of the CPN type literature anything about. Oh, that was the other thing. I was down in Albany, in this little cabin place, and I was looking around on the internet, you know, after we'd done a day's journey, and up popped this thing out of magnum opus or something, and basically they grow predominantly in sand or something. Nothing about the colour of the sand, nothing about the size of the sand. No, I don't think even mention what type of sand they're growing. It's mainly quartzite sand in quite a lot of the places. Nothing like that. I mean, I'm thinking we've had 50 years or more of intense CP sort of culture, you know, from the 1950s into the 70s when CPN turned up, and they still haven't really gone further than just saying peat and sand, basically, and no explanation of, you know, why peat, white sand, is quartzite sand important? If so, why is it important? You know, you have to work these things out yourself. So, yeah, I suppose, as I said, that's why I did the Gordon Cheers book gratis, because I was going to write the next major book in this country on carnivorous plants, and I'm going to get to there, I reckon. I've had a success in one of the boxes, so I'm going to try it again I'm going to go back to bran, which is basically very, very cheap sawdust. I'm going to try that. If it works on bran, then I'll try dynamic lifter. If it works on there, then I'll try and attempt to get into a new form of tissue culture, you know, growing weeds in a tissue culture sort of. I've already know that it is possible to sterilise something, because if you go back to the honey log wagon video, if you punch up something or other with a honey log wagon, you'll pick out a video that I did in the honey log wagon, and in there I've got two versions of sterility in there. I actually managed to do a third type of sterility using copper metal, basically, but there's two in there that you can do. So I know it's possible to sterilise and keep something sterile for years in a jar, but whether you can actually have it sterile and grow the plants at the same time, so that the plants go in there non-sterile, they become sterile, the whole environment becomes sterile and stays sterile, and the plants still grow. It's not aggressive enough to actually kill the plant. Then the plant may be knocked about a bit initially, but it should come good. That's the idea anyway. And I've had success in one of the boxes, so yeah. Most of these other boxes, the other two had a musty smell to them. One of them had a tea-like smell, and the other one kept with the cigar-like smell. So, yeah. So that was rather interesting. And the normal cigar-like smell you get with coir, able to maintain it in one of the boxes. The other box that was a semi-success had like a tea-like smell to it. So I didn't think that was a real success, because I've played around with tea bags in the past, and no, they go mouldy, you see. So eventually, so yeah, people talk to you about tannic teas and things like that. I think they're questioning you whether you've actually cracked it or not. That's what it is. When they ask you about Tanic teas or botanic teas, they're really asking you, have you cracked the secret? Are you on their side or you are out here on your side, sort of thing? And I think I'm I'm a man for no sides. I think I'm for everybody. But yeah, as I said, when the CP revolution starts and go, it's just really what we should have had all those years ago. The missing book in the Bentley Library, sort of thing. You know, it would be nice to go to the Bentley Library, pick out a book, and it told you, well, you're in the centre of the world, and this is, you know, this is why. Blah 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 blah. You know, CPs are these types of